Hi there. Welcome to Going Deeper with Steve Arterburn. I'm him. We're going to go deeper together. I hope it'll be a great experience for you. I've really enjoyed just getting to spend time thinking about you out there. You're in front of a phone or computer or screen, some kind. And I think the reason you tune in is you just want a little bit of something that might mean something, not worthless chatter. And that's what I love about going through the 12 steps, because they're not worthless chatter. They are divine matter, you could say. And they really do transform your life. And we have come from to admitting this extreme limitation that we can't really get ourselves in a better place on our own. We've come to that and come all the way from that to not just asking God to help us, but having a relationship with God in that 11th step, and being close to God all day long, and just praying for His will and the power to carry it out. Which brings us to the very last step. It says this: having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to others and to practice these principles in all our affairs. William James was one of the great writers early in psychology and in theology, and he wrote about the spiritual awakening. And there is a belief that there must be a spiritual awakening of the soul if we're going to get better. So, if we haven't had a spiritual awakening, if we haven't opened our eyes to new things, I just wonder, about the level or lack thereof of what you did in the working part of the steps. Because I think you'd want to consider going back and doing some more work if there wasn't really a spiritual awakening. But I really don't know of folks that work these steps and don't have a spiritual awakening. So having had that spiritual awakening, now I want to carry this to other people. I want them to experience it. And so I'm a little missionary now. I have a mission, and it's to serve other folks as maybe I have been served when somebody reached out and tried to help me. So when we do that, we are literally functioning under the law of service. And I've got this little law of service book. And it says this, 12 laws. It says the requirement of service will result in reward. When you serve, there are rewards. Look, I am so grateful to have this ministry and to have reached so many people. The reward of that is beyond anything you could imagine. So here's a verse, Ephesians 4:12. Their responsibility is to equip God's people to do His work and build up the church and the body of Christ. And when you take this message, this life recovery message to other people, you're doing that. You're absolutely doing that. And it makes all the difference in the world. Now, listen to this. Galatians 6:1. That's the verse. Dear brothers and sisters, if another believer is overcome by some sin, you who are godly should gently and humbly help that person onto the right path. And be careful not to fall into the same temptation yourself. That's Galatians 6:1. So here we're just simply talking about reaching out, helping others, just the way Bill W. was helped in AA, just the way so many others have been helped. But look at this. 2 Corinthians 1, verse 3 and 4, the Apostle Paul explains God's way with people and the hurts that they've experienced. Here it is. 2 Corinthians 1, 3 through 4. God is our merciful Father and the source of all comfort. He comforts us in all our troubles so that we can comfort others. When they are troubled, we will be able to give them the same comfort that God has given us. I'll tell you, that is transformation. Transformation. That's what it is. Where I am comforted by God, and then I take what I've learned, what I've experienced, and I use that to go out with a new mission, a new ministry, and I try to help other people. I comfort as I have been comforted. And since I've been comforted by God, I know how to comfort somebody else. I can do that, and it's really going to work. So it's reversing the impact of all this that has happened in my life. And when I do these steps, I'm following these 12 laws. Every one of them has a result and an outcome. And when I'm doing those 12 steps and I work them, there are 12 gifts that emerge from all of it. And I get to experience those and see them and bless other people as I've experienced them. I help them experience them too. Then the last part of this step, it says, and to practice these principles in all our affairs. I've mentioned to you how long Dave Stoop and I have been writing together, a long time. And we've seen so many other writers and teams break up. And we just think maybe the reason that we are still together is that we literally practice these principles in our affairs of our friendship and working together. Because these are bonding principles. These principles keep us current. They keep us connected to folks. They don't allow us to go off on some tangent somewhere that we don't need to be, some unhealthy place, some really sick location. They keep us right where we need to be. And so I'm going to start, as I help others and I practice these in my affairs, something may emerge called joy. And then this other thing that's mentioned in the Serenity Prayer may emerge. Reasonable happiness. Just to be reasonably happy. It's such a great expression. I love it. And I don't know of anything that could be better than just this reasonable happiness. Experiencing it. It's part of serenity. It's part of a peaceful heart. And that's what I want for each person here. Now, we were having a devotional today at New Life, and I talked about two leaders in the Bible. And I want to share those with you because they were on a mission, or that's what God wanted them to be on, a mission to take Him and the truth and to serve Him and others and to bring them to Him. Win people over, lead them in the spiritual things. And so He appointed Aaron as His high priest. And over in the New Testament, when Jesus comes, He appoints Peter as the head of His church. What in the world is the first thing that Aaron does as the high priest, the new guy, the new kid on the block? You know what he does? Well, Moses takes so much time up on the mountain that he decides, let's get a bunch of gold together, give me your earrings, and make a calf. And they made a calf, and he makes an altar, and they're ready to worship a golden calf. And leading that worship is the high priest. He established the priesthood for the Israelites. And he's worshiping a golden calf. God's chosen guy. Let's go to Peter. Peter is going to be the rock, the foundation of the church. And what do we see him doing? Over in the New Testament, he's denying that he ever knew Jesus. Even says, I swear, may a curse come upon me if this isn't true. Very convincing. So what happened to these guys? They mess up one time. And does God say, you're done? No. God called them on these two missions. They messed up. they were restored, and they still had the same calling. Now, let's say a preacher gets involved in an affair with somebody in the church. Well, you can't say, hey, look, Peter lied and he to head up the church, and Aaron, he worshiped a golden calf and he still got to head up the church. So why can't I still? Well, totally different. And so you need to step down and not teach in that church. But in time, with restoration and healing, it doesn't mean that you're done. God will just use you in a different place, in a different way. Every time we mess up, I really believe God says, okay, I can work with that. And that's what he does. He works with it. So I don't know what's happening with you. I don't know where you are, but I know this. Practicing these principles in all your affairs. And then literally helping other people to find the same things that you found. It's a lifestyle, and it's a whole way of living that I don't think there's anything close to all the joy and the wonder that comes from it. Here's a challenge to you. If you're truly at the end of the 12 steps and you've worked the 12, and you will keep refining, and maybe you go through a step a month as you go forward. But if you've truly worked it, I believe that you could become dedicated to a cause. Maybe it's sponsoring people. Maybe it's just, starting a little group in your church. Maybe that's what you do. But I think you can get on a mission, and it will impact a lot of people. Now, I think it's really important that we ask ourselves, what is it that should result when we practice these things in all of our affairs? To me, that result is loving other people well with proper motive. So when I love people, I don't care where they came from, don't care the color of their skin. I don't care. I don't care what they did in the past. I'm just going to take them today. Now, if this is a sociopathic swindler, it'd be good to know that. And I'm not going to just give the keys to my car or something like that. I'm not going to be foolish. But aside from those situations, I'm just going to love people well with the motive that God has loved me, and I want to love others with that love that God gave to me. I want to comfort them with the comfort he's given to me. I want to make somebody's life better. I hope that that's what working these 12 steps does for you. In the 12-step series, I hope something here has been helpful to you. I can't think of any reason not to work these steps, no matter who you are, what you're going through. But I think if you did these 12, your recovery from divorce would be so much stronger and so much less painful, and set you up for some real success in the future. Thanks for joining me, and hope you'll tune in tomorrow. It won't be on the 12 steps. We'll start a new series then. See you next time.